Hello, I have Emery here on my lap. Oh, Kiara's coming around the back, just making sure she's not, let's not knock over the cords. Kiara, there's room for everybody. Hi everyone, it is Thursday, which means it is the Wildcat Weekly Wrap-Up. I can't believe we're already in the middle of April. It is going fast. Everything's going busy, fast, and well here. I first want to acknowledge that so many of you guys posted great photos of Uproar magazine, which came to your homes. It was a bittersweet issue to write. It brought back a lot of memories, and of course I had Baby's Memorial in there, and so those are kind of very emotional. But then being able to put together the yearbook and go through every single cat that lives here now, safe at Sanctuary, was just heartwarming. And as soon as we write uproars and publish them, they're outdated because Kimba, the links came right after Uproar was published. And so Kimba, you guys got to see a few pictures. I know many of you got to see the video, which I thought was really important to share because a lot of what our staff goes into is unknown territory, can be unsafe, but also can be very controlled when you are listening to the cues of the animals. And so Kimba was an interesting case because, as you guys know, we are full, but there's a few circumstances when we will have to and will be willing to say yes. And that's knowing that we have enclosures being built this season on the horizon so that cats we rescue don't have to stay in temporary situations too long. So that's a key one because we don't want to ever overpopulate our sanctuary or the animals aren't getting that quality of care that they get right now, and as well as those free roaming habitats. So that's really important. But I received an email and it was just a few sentences that, you know, somebody had a privately owned Eurasian lynx that needed to be rehomed quickly, and that it was a cat that had been around people its whole life, and not much else about that. Knowing that she did grow up with a few dogs. Also, at that point, we assumed she was still in the home living with the person who had raised her. So we started asking some more questions, and then we were informed that obviously she was owned illegally, which is what most of our owner surrenders and cats we get are from. And so our goal at that point was obviously not so much prosecution because this person had taken pretty good care of this lynx and wanted to do the right thing. It was more about getting her safely to Sanctuary. So we had figured that we had a couple weeks, maybe a week to go get her based on, it was an owner surrender. You know, we just asked how soon do you want? And he said as soon as you can. And so I think this was like a Thursday. So then we said, how about Tuesday or Wednesday next week? And he said, yeah, earlier if you can. And so with a little more talking, we realized that she was in a house that was vacant. He needed to sell the house. He obviously did not have the proper paperwork and could legally have her. And so we don't know the exact details, but it did come down to that, like right now, she really needs to go. So we said, how about we leave tomorrow? And that's exactly what our staff did. So we sent 3 people down, which is a lot for a lynx, but we wanted to make sure we knew she was loose in the house, and the owner did say there was no way to crate her, that she just does not want to be crated, and that sedation would be needed. So that's why we brought 3 people down, and then also driver, because going down that short notice and back, we wanted to make sure we had good drivers. So everything I heard was that the owner was very accommodating, very respectful, and sent me an email about our staff, that how patient they were, and that this was very emotional for him. And you could tell he loved her. And so no matter what our feelings are about not having wild animals as pets, I do want to commend when people do take care of the animals and then do want to surrender. Now, there's been a lot of comments about her eating like whiskey, Friskies canned food. I will tell you, this gentleman told us that he tried to get her to switch over to meat. So it wasn't a monetary issue or decision. It was, she was being very picky for him. So we ended up starting with that, but she didn't want chicken or beef at first, and she went for the rabbits. And now she's going for the chicken or beef. So when we got her, you know, because she was socialized to him, I think a lot of times the owners think they're going to be just social to us right away. And that's not true. They're imprinting with one person, and usually they only see a few people when they're privately owned. They're not seeing masses of people. And so we picked her up. They took her out of the only home she knew. We brought her to Sanctuary, and we know her life is going to be good, but it's a transition period for her. Other questions we get asked is, and even by the owner, does she want affection? Is she reaching out for affection from us? And the reality is that that was a relationship they had, and she might never want to be social with us again at the fence. But we can see the glimmers of hope. She's starting to realize we're not such bad people. She's coming up to the fence waiting for food. But Aria and Beauty were very similar. They were very shut down. And Kimba's not that shut down, but Kimba's very smart. She is on the very lean side. She's put on 3 pounds since she's been here, and now that she's had an intake exam and vetted, I know she's going to put on more weight since she's eating well, but she is underweight for her size. She's not emaciated or anything like that. She's just really lanky, which we see with teenage Eurasian lynx, but also probably her diet. So she's settling in, but we know it's a change. Her owner is checking in on her, so we appreciate that. And, you know, this was one that it was time sensitive. We had to get there. And because she was illegally owned, he didn't have a veterinarian that could issue a health certificate. And the rescue world is crazy because all these guidelines that we follow are really meant for people that are commercially using, breeding, selling animals, but we have to adhere to them because that's who licenses us. And so trying to get a health certificate, you know, for a vet to a privately owned lynx is very challenging. But we did reach out to everybody we knew, including exotic vets and zoos, and we are so thankful for the Albuquerque Zoos vet who agreed that she would see Kimba on her weekend, a 24-hour short notice, and make sure she got a health certificate so we could legally bring her back to Minnesota. And so that was a lot of phone calls, a lot of last-minute asks and references, and also a vet that would be willing not necessarily to go on site to the house where we know the gentleman really was concerned about getting in trouble and just really wanted to get her to the right space. Understood that it was about getting the animal to safety and out of, you know, the hands of where she was at right now, and it wasn't about having to be on site and things like that. They knew our staff was completely competent in doing that. So Kimba's here. Do we know who she's going to partner with and have her miracle match with? We don't know yet, but we're still getting to know her, and it'll be interesting to see how she thinks of other cats. Right now she's got some neighbors, and she's a little interested but not over interested. We have Bella the bobcat is still way more interested in other neighbors than Kimba is. So I appreciate all of you guys that saw her rescue, saw the staff having to mobilize her in the home to get her safely into a crate and into the transport vehicle. And then, you know, obviously during Miracle Match, triples go 3 times as far, and this was an unexpected cost. She's going to need another habitat, which, as you guys know, we're building for the current rescues even from last year. She needed her intake exam and spay. So for those that have sponsored her so far, thank you. And you know it takes multiple sponsors to cover annual costs of any of the cats that you help us rescue. So more sponsorships are always appreciated. And sponsoring any cat during Miracle Match, which is now the triple match, goes 3 times as far. So if you want to renew your sponsorship, if you'd like to add a small cat or even a bigger cat to your sponsorship family, definitely do so. So there's only 2 weeks left of Miracle Match. So this triple match is huge. I always want to remind everybody that those that have given at the beginning of Miracle Match is critical. You helped us meet such amazing goals, and our triple match supporter only brings forward the triple match once we meet the double match. So that's kind of how it works. So everybody's always waits for the triple match, and we've been so lucky to always have a triple match, but sometimes it's up to the last wire. Sometimes it's really trying to work with a donor that has capacity to do a triple match. And so it's never guaranteed. I know it seems like it is because we do them a lot, but that's because you guys donate to meet the double matches to even allow us to solicit our donors for triple matches. So you guys help just as much as those matching funds folks. So thank you so much. I definitely want to give you some more updates on what's going on. Next week, we will be sharing with you our new and final goal for Miracle Match. And you've helped us meet so many of our goals for the cats. So really hoping when we announce next week's goal that it'll be just as near and dear to your heart, and you can still help or make a final triple gift if you haven't already. So it's been busy with exams again. So, because obviously Kimba's exam was unexpected and Spabe is doing good. And then Hilo, the Savannah, had wellness exam because he's being moved. He's in bungalow 1. He was with Maximilian and Thor Senior, and they moved to quarantine. So Sushi, who was in quarantine, moved into a temporary area we built while she's waiting for her permanent habitat to be built this summer with the water feature and everything. So she's gonna have one more move after where she's at now. And so her area in quarantine opened up for us to move Savannah's over during the teardown for Catio Town. So after Hilo's exam, he moved out there, so did Thor Senior and Maximilian. Then they also moved from bungalow 2, Savannah's Coco and Cine, to the outside part of quarantine, which is on a shared wall with Hilo's group, because we're hoping if they're near each other and in a big space, we could merge Coco and Cine with Hilo, Maximilian, and Thor Senior. But it'll really depend on what they tell us. But that was the goal of moving Sushi. So we had this bigger enclosure with a lot of shifts to try and get another merger through. We also had a vet day this morning, and so if you are a sponsor of Dash, I'm sure you'll be getting an update over the next few days. So Dash, as you guys all know, is a big, beautiful boy. Gal, we think he weighs about 350 pounds now. He's been getting kind of a bump on his nose and the fur missing. And at first we thought he was kind of burying toys and things, but then it's just been getting a little more swollen, and when he has a big nose anyways, it looks really swollen. So we decided to do an exam on him, use the time to update vaccines, get blood work, check his nails and everything like that, and really check that nose. So today we sedated Dash in his room, and of course I wanted to be there for that. And he went down smoothly. Everything looked good. He wore down almost his nails all the way to his fingers. Not in anything bad, just in true Dash form, that he is destroying things and clawing things, and he's just a busybody. So we x-rayed his nose, the vet did, Dr. Campbell did, and we also did aspirations through his nose. But nothing abnormal was seen. There was no abscess, there was no bone issues or anything like that. So what it really is just swollen tissue. And the more all of us talked and were kind of really watching him over the last week, he is rubbing and like running along the fence line on the shared wall side with Tarek and Polina. And Polina is just agitated by him having so much fun. And so it looks like he's just rubbing that nose and being that tomboy he is, that he just doesn't even feel it. So nothing major there, but it's always a little stressful to sedate a big cat and such a big boy like he was, but we were able to get paw prints and things today too. So that's awesome. We have 3 more crew days this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to be tearing down the bungalow 1 yard, the bungalow 2 yard, and then they're going to go on Sunday and go down to the new Bobcat and Sushi's area and start helping put skirting on the ground. So that's going to be happening there. We also have the architect is coming tomorrow, and the contractor for Catio Town, and so we're going to be doing a walkthrough just to determine where utilities are going and placed, and see anything that we haven't thought of for the prep for construction that starts in June. And then also on Saturday, we have our volunteer appreciation lunch. So even though we have 100 volunteers at a given time, about 30 of them have signed up to come to the appreciation lunch up here in Sandstone. And it's just a time for us to get together, finally say thank you for them, do some fun games and things like that. We actually have a silent auction of all those unique cat items that they can kind of bid on, just as our way of saying thank you. So we'll be seeing a lot of people then. The other big thing is, you know, many of you have gotten calls from me, from Sally, from Gina, and it's something we really like to do, is we love talking to you guys. Sorry when we miss you and have to leave messages, but Sally, for many of our Monthly Pride members, Sally started calling the people that are part of Monthly Pride, and for two reasons. One is we wanted to reach out and personally say thank you. If you're a Monthly Pride donor, every month on your receipt, there has been like a link to special footage or videos or photos and unique content that way. And our Monthly Pride program is really where the most money goes to the cats, because we don't have to do kits, you know, like sponsor kits or any type of admin work. It's just a reoccurring gift that keeps coming, and it is so special. So there's a way we want to recognize Monthly Pride people without creating so much admin work that we take away money from the cats. So Sally was calling many of them to say thank you. And then guess what? Out of that, she made 280 calls to Monthly Pride members, and 163 of them agreed to start paying the credit card fees monthly for their monthly gift. And that is huge. As we talked about, it's $40,000 to $50,000 a year in credit card fees. So whenever you give or donate or have a reoccurring gift and you're willing to pay those fees, that is a huge savings. And so just from the Monthly Pride members, that the 163 people that just decided to pay the fees, that's saving us and giving the cats back over $3,270 on an annual basis. So all those little changes we make really add up for the cats. So thank you, Sally, for calling everybody. Thank you for Monthly Pride members. We appreciate it so much. And then you'll just see more summer projects happening and more exams. Next week, we are going to do another Asian leopard cat exam, and we don't know which cat at this time. It might be Rue. Because really we don't want to stress them out, so we're doing opportunistic crating, meaning they're getting fed in their crates, and the day of they get a teeny little treat to see if they'll go in their crate. Not a meal, of course, because they're going to be sedated. And then we take the opportunity of who has gone in their crate least stressful to shut the door and be able to do vet day on them. So that's great. But we have Riku's group moving, Riku, Bestie, and Xena next week. And then the following week, we have Lady, Axel, and DJ, and Tiger, Max, Monica, and Phoebe all moving to temporary areas. And then the teardown will be complete. And there'll be a big empty space over there. They'll be waiting to do the excavation, put the concrete in, and it is going to be a 60 by 90 building, Catio Town is. So we're excited to tell you more about that. Also today, I was filing a second amendment for our Argentina permit to bring tigers from Argentina to us. So the first week, hopefully the first week of May, I should have a formal update for you guys on what's happening on that case, and we'll be sharing that with you. And so that's kind of our weekly wrap up this week. It's all I can think about. There's been so much to do, but it's hard to know how I share everything with you, because we've been doing everything from, scheduling the intern and staff reunion. We did our first one last year, and we're having that again this year, and welcoming back staff, interns, for a social night and a whole crew day. And it's just a way for us to see everybody again, see what everybody's doing, what impact they're making out in the world after being an intern or staff member at TWS. So if you're a former intern or staff member, definitely watch as we start promoting the intern and staff reunion that'll be coming up this summer. And so I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. It was rainy here this week. It was soggy. It's still soggy, but we're supposed to be having better weather and some sunshine over the next 3 days. So that'll be wonderful for the volunteers coming. And I hope to see you again next week and to share some more updates that are happening here at the Wildcat Sanctuary.